Are you having some struggles with English? Do you lack confidence speaking in meetings? Are you concerned about your English vocabulary? Are you concerned that people don't understand you? Are you ever embarrassed in a meeting about your English? Hi, my name's Bert Langeau. I'm a business English coach. Hey, you're not by yourself. This is very common. Now, I'm going to tell you about my English story and how you can move your English ahead, how you can fix these little problems. These are not your fault. Millions and millions of people in the world have been taught English all in the wrong way. They're being taught by teachers, and there's nothing against them, they're trying hard, who really don't understand the process, don't have the English skills, are not native speakers, just don't have the pronunciation, intonation, and the abilities that are necessary to help people perfect their English. And they've actually caused some problems. A lot of people come to me with bad phonetics, bad intonation. They have some vocabulary, but it's all memorized and they just can't bring it up. And there are some fixes for this. And I'd like to take you through the process of learning English, and I'm sure you're probably well ahead of a lot of these steps, but a lot of people come to me where we need to go back and correct their pronunciation. We need to teach them intonation. We need to teach them the vocabulary they need for their communication, and it's not so much teaching as showing them and practicing. Anyway, let's get on with this. My name's Bert Langeau. I'll tell you my little story, and then we'll progress through it. And you might want to skip ahead, but if you do skip, you might miss some fundamental ideas that are really important in the process of getting to a natural sounding English level. Now, through this experience and my own experience, and let me tell you a story. When I was small, my brother and I were very close together in age, and we sort of had our own language. We didn't really have a chance to perfect our better English. We seemed to spend most of our time talking to each other in this kind of funny little language. And this caused me to have a bit of a speech impediment. There were certain sounds I just had a real problem with. The R sound, sh, the SH sound, ch, the CH sound, the TH sound. And when I went to elementary school, I was bullied and people made fun of me. It really hurt. And I went through speech therapy for a couple years, and it was really helpful. But that always caused me to think about English, how people speak, listen to them, listen to those really good speakers. And I learned a lot from them. But I'll tell you, I was lacking a lot of confidence in my own language. And then later, I went to business school. I did a degree in accounting. And I worked for an accounting firm, and I realized studying is okay. You learn some theory in that, but practice is where it really comes out. And I had some major struggles in starting in accounting and then moving into the business world and learning my skills in business, not having a family that was in business. So I understand your pain. I understand how challenging it can be to learn another language. Now, in some ways, my problem was even worse because I didn't have another language. I didn't learn how to speak another language first. I had to kind of correct my own language. Maybe you disagree with me, let me know. But I know it's not easy. And I've worked with many, many people. And it took me a long time to feel confident in my English. And I guess that's why I really enjoy helping people with English. Now, getting beyond my own story, I've experienced this from my own students. And when I meet people, generally I'm hearing things like, I don't feel confident about my English. I feel as though I've embarrassed myself in meetings, or I will embarrass myself. I don't want to give my opinions, or even maybe kind of disagree with somebody. People might laugh at my English. Sometimes they're saying, I just don't have the vocabulary. I'm so nervous I can't think of the right word. I know the words, but I can't seem to use them. Now, one thing I'd say is they probably just don't have the collocations. It's all right to learn words, vocabulary, but you need to use them. They need to fall into chunks of language. It's more about the natural way of learning. And maybe you feel you've been studying English for years. You've had your own teachers in your own language trying to speak English, and you just can't seem to get ahead. You feel like it's holding back your career and your earning power. You know you're a very good software programmer or a data analyst or a project leader, scrum leader, whatever, but you're not making the progress you think you should be in English. Well, it's really not your fault. There's a problem with traditional English teaching. And I've done the different English certifications and that, and I've helped a lot of people in English, but there's some simple basic things that people have to go through to have a good solid foundation in English. And when I was learning Spanish, I learned the same thing. They weren't focusing enough on the actual sounds and that, the mechanics of the language. So let's talk about this. What are the steps from A to Z, or Z as the Americans say, in learning English? What do I recommend after my years and years of struggles and teaching experience? And anyway, I think I probably got it because my students tell me that I'm making a difference in their lives, and that's very satisfying. Plus, I have a lot of business experience, and luckily my brother and I started a company that had a market cap over $2 billion. This was a big experience for me. Plus, I was very, very successful in the insurance business after a lot of struggles. So let's go through this. I hope this helps you, and look, always message me and let me know what you need. I do have some free courses and I'm ready to help. I can only take on a very limited number of students, but I'm trying to figure out ways to be able to help massive numbers of people with their English. So let's talk. First of all, I want you to learn the proper English sounds. They are probably a bit different than your own sounds. The Spanish B and V are the same. They're not the same in English. We pop our B's and P's. The TH sound is not common in most languages, so you need to learn a good you need to learn the SH and these different sounds like we do. And it's just like learning the notes in music. You need to know the notes in that before you can make the music. It's just basic. And if you don't have good, clear pronunciation, if you don't have good, clear phonetics, you're not going to be easily understood by English speakers. So first of all, this is not a big deal. You can learn this very quickly, and you practice these sounds in the words in what we call minimal pairs, and you build these neural networks in your mind. From doing that, you're going to have very good, clear, natural English pronunciation. And most of my students are intermediate and advanced, but I still have to correct their pronunciation. Very often, we have to spend a little time getting their pronunciation perfect. If you're not being understood, it doesn't matter how good your vocabulary or your grammar or anything else is. But if you don't have good pronunciation, that's a big problem. And we can fix this. It's not a biggie, but it's something that has to be fixed. And often people have learned the wrong pronunciation. They've learned the wrong emphasis on each sound, and this has become a habit, and it's a habit we need to break by forming good habits. Now, the second thing I'd like to say is if you're starting from zero, just like a child, you need to learn some of those basic nouns and verbs and prepositions, the little words, the adjectives to describe the nouns, the adverbs to describe the verbs, and things like numbers and colors, some very basic things. And then the mistake that people are led to do is just continue learning and learning and learning vocabulary without reinforcing and making the vocabulary they have natural. So you need to learn how to use these words in combinations. We don't speak English word by word by word. We speak them in groups of language, in blocks of language. And these are called collocations. It's the natural way we speak. So you need to learn this. And this is easy. It's just practice. It's repetition. It's building those new neural networks. And do you know that the most common 1,000 words of English covers over 80% of normal spoken English? So it's not really that big a deal. 1,000 sounds like a lot, but it's not when you take the deviations of all the words and all those little words and you build on it a bit by making those simple sentences. You're communicating, learning to communicate, learning to ask for what you need and want, and then learning to express your ideas. And as you continue in your journey, you get better and better. And you learn the collocations and you get natural and you've got the pronunciation now. Now you have a framework of words that will help you. Now the next thing I want you to learn is what we call intonation, or the rhythm of English. If you're making music, you need to learn rhythm, don't you? And this is not that difficult. You learn rhythm by getting sentences and where the syllable is underlined that you have to emphasize, and the words are underlined that you have to emphasize. Now, basically, on most two-syllable nouns, or on all two-syllable nouns, the first syllable we emphasize. On verbs, we emphasize the second syllable. In sentences, we emphasize the most important words, and we don't emphasize the little words, like the tos and the ifs and the stuff like that. But intonation, when you get intonation and you again build those neural networks, you're going to sound very natural. When I go through sentences with my students with these underlined and they practice these, very soon they sound like natives. It's like a 180-degree turn. It's amazing, just because every language has different intonation. And this, as a native, we listen to hear something a certain way. If we don't hear it that way, we're going to be asking you to repeat yourself, even though your pronunciation might have been perfect and your vocabulary was perfect. But if you don't have the intonation, it really sounds foreign. But if you have the intonation and you have the proper phonetics, you're going to sound native. Okay, let's move on. Now, this language process should help you acquire grammar. You're going to learn grammar by reading, listening, getting little corrections, and you might want to learn a few little things about grammar and that, but don't get into the rules too much. You're not going to be, if you're searching your mind for rules when you're speaking, you're not communicating. You're going to be very hesitant. You're not going to have the fluency. Don't be so focused on accuracy. Accuracy works counter to fluency. But you will acquire the grammar if you truly listen and you read, and that you will acquire grammar. And with these collocations I was talking about, once your language is coming out in blocks, the language is built into your memory. Yeah, ask me about grammar points and that. I can't say I'm the world's greatest grammar teacher. Very few English native speakers have spent much time learning grammar. We acquired it naturally, and that's mainly the way you should acquire your grammar, in my opinion. And as you progress quickly and through your English journey, you're going to learn the English you need for your world. You set your goals and you realize your challenges, and you will learn it. It has to be relevant to you. Next, if you're in business, you're an IT person, you're going to have to learn the language around meetings and small talk and making presentations and that sort of thing. You're going to have to learn some of this. I don't want you to spend years trying to learn business English before you get into trying to get a job in a business opportunity or something, or getting involved in some kind of business talk. I want you to do it, and you're going to learn it. I can give you coaching. People like myself can coach you. I was in business for 30 plus years and teach. That's what I do. I teach business English every day. I coach people. I want to coach you to be better. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to coach you. And I have some very simple exercises that will make this happen. And we'll role play and we'll go through different things. And you will acquire the language and you will be confident. But the process has to be done correctly. It has to be done right. And I find even I get C1 people who are very advanced English people as far as tests go, who have issues with their pronunciation, almost always intonation, issues with just not knowing business English, issues with being confident, just not having some of the right collocations. And this is what I do. I help polish their English and give them the tools to be as successful using English as they can be in their own language, in their own meetings, but using English now. And this opens up a whole new world. And look, maybe it's not fair, but if you are good at business English, you are going to earn significantly more than if you're not. Tell me if I'm wrong, but my students in Brazil and Chile and different places tell me they can earn 3 times as much, 2 times as much if they're good at English and they're working for an international company. So it's up to you. I'm here to help. DM me, connect with me, like this video, whatever, make comments, send me a message. Maybe we can chat sometime. Anyway, and ask me for my free small talk course, my free small talk video course to master small talk. Small talk is so important in English. Learning to do it, and it's not that difficult. It's just you get a video from me every day for 7 days, and we will improve your small talk. And probably at the end of this, sometime during that 7 days, we'll all do a Zoom call. We can check in and talk about how we're doing and that. So thank you for watching me, and please like and subscribe. I need this for YouTube. You can see that not many people get to see my videos because of the YouTube algorithm, and I'm trying. So thank you very much. Again, my name's Burton Langell. I'm a business English coach here in Nova Scotia, Canada. Have a good day.